The story now is that because we did some strong foundational work and we actually went and mapped the system, we kept talking about our systems for change and changing the system. Well, what does a system play out in a local place like this? So we actually went out and mapped that. We took a really strong framing question. You need one of those to go out to map a system. And we couldn't map the whole system for the age range of 0 to 25 all in one go. So we thought we'd break that down a little bit. So we chose to map the system that supports a healthy, welcome, safe start for all children 0 to 2 years, so the first 1,000 days of life roughly. In taking out that question across the services, we could ask them what's working for and against this healthy, welcome, safe start. And very quickly we could identify how things play out, those patterns that were showing up across a number of organisations and parts of the community. And we could build causal loops from that and eventually a systems map. And then when we tested that map out with the services, we found that there was a real energy for change in some parts of the system because there was some clarity around, my goodness, this is what's going on. We didn't realise that was happening in your organisation or this part of the community as well. So we have some really good action teams coming out of that work, and I feel really proud of what they have chosen to work on and very excited about what they're working on because it's grounded in data and the systems thinking before they then leapt into, let's just get a quick win project. I feel quick win projects don't really cut the kind of change we're wanting to achieve here in our community. I've got a systems map. We put the systems map into a booklet with a narrative about each part of the system, how it plays out in our community for this age group. And we're currently building one for the best start in life, the 3 to 8 year old cohort, and we're about to take that out and test that with the community. And the plan in the best start to life one is that systems map will help us align the work with the Municipal Early Years Plan, which is currently being redone, the Best Start in Life program for the Department of Education and Training, and any Best Start action teams that might come out for community work through Hands Up Mallee or anything else that wants to work in this in the Best Start space. So then we'll next map what's the systems approach for young people. We're just working through our age cohorts a bit at a time.
I think the biggest change has been a much higher involvement of community and having that community leaders table and different projects that are more focused on community and in some ways agencies stepping away to let that happen but still play a supporting role in the background. And to me that's got to be the model. So traditionally it might be an agency running a project or an agency doing something, whether that's council or community health or a different NGO or whatever. Importantly, it's got to be that agency sitting in the background and the community being seen to take the lead, and that creates the level of cooperation that you need. It's almost like if you're willing not to take credit for something, you can achieve anything. And that's where you've got to put the credit back on to the agencies. Sometimes that's counterintuitive, particularly in a political environment where there's supposedly acknowledgement of a solution by a certain group doing something. But unless we manage that or we get the hang of the fact that it's got to come from community and that's got to be the focus to get real sustainable change, and we just sit in the background, it's really difficult to see that those solutions to problems being sustainable. It's almost like you've got to work outside your sphere of acknowledgement for it to actually become a real solution.
I would very much like to see what comes out of our best start plans for the municipal early years plan, best start Hands Up Mallee teams for the changes they can make, particularly around school readiness. School readiness data could well truly be improved. 1 in 5 of our children are probably arriving at school not as ready as they need to be. So, yeah, I'd love to see a shift in that, because that really sets up that trajectory through the education pathway. The school readiness is such a predictor of school completion, and we've been very challenged with school completion rates in the past here, and we'd like to make some inroads on that.
My hope for the future is that in 20 years' time, when they go back to community and do another survey and ask a lot of questions and have community interviews, they're not going to see the same results. They're going to see far better statistics that are going to be positive statistics instead of negative for our region. We're going to see, children more engaged with school, less likely to be substance abusers, and a lot less violence in our community. That's my hope.
Certainly I would like to see access to some more specialist services. Certainly we have a great variety of services, but we don't have that specialist services. So we've got young people that have really complex issues, and I would like to see those young people be able to access that really specialist top-end support. There's a lot more issues underlying with young people with mental health and suicide in this particular area, so that's probably an area that I would like to see be focused on.
So Sunraysia Community Health Services have been able to take our parent support service and out into the community and to have that at the face of the community. It will be a drop-in service, a no wrong door approach. We will gladly help you. If we can't help you in-house, we'll help you somehow type of an approach. And so all working in one space. Hopefully our aim is to have a rapport built with families and to be able to link families into different services within under our one roof. So it's through Hands Up Mallee that we've been able to get to that point. And so the building of relationships between service providers has been something that we've been very grateful for through Hands Up Mallee. And so we've just been doing very small snippets of collaborative practice, things like blending our parent support service with an immunisation clinic, blending our maternal and child health service with our parent support service. And those small collaborative type arrangements have built a very positive working relationship within service providers in our community. And then luckily enough, we now, through Sunraysia Community Health, have a physical location to be now invite everyone who wants to work under our roof to be there and to then be able to give back exactly what the community have asked for.
Over time, you see a lot of I call them bath ball programs. Those bath things you put in the bath and they go really intense for, 5 or 10 minutes, and then they just go. Well, that's what happens with the programmatic response, that unless it's sustainable, unless it can change and adapt as they go through the phases, then they don't become really meaningful and they don't end up fixing the problem. And a lot of times when they stop and start, they actually make the problem worse, particularly in that youth space or in crime or mental illness. If they just come and go, it doesn't help the overall collective, and that's what we need to do to really change for the long term, not just the short term.